Hello, welcome to another episode of Prescribing Lifestyle Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Avi Charlton. Today, I've got a special guest, Coach Lita. It's Lita Mae Button. She's come all the way from Canada, Newfoundland, to, on the Zoom to come and have a chat with me in Melbourne, Australia. Lita is a coach and she was a nurse. She helps women over 50 to rebuild strength, memory, balance, and joy through non-contact boxing, mindset, and movement. She thinks is medicine. That's music to my ears. She's a speaker and a coach. Welcome to my podcast, Lita.
Hi, thank you for having me, Dr. Abby. I'm happy to be here and to say that we're very much aligned. I mean, different pathways to get to kind of the same message to those that we educate and inspire and motivate to use their lifestyle to help heal as opposed to prescribe medication. So I'm really happy that I'm here to dive into it a little bit deeper with you.
Amazing. Well, amazing. Thank you. Thank you for coming on. I'll get you to introduce yourself and tell us about a bit about your journey. How did you get here? How did you become a coach and all the stories about boxing? So, so many questions for you.
Well, we need more than a half an hour for that, but I'll give you the kind of condensed type of version. So, I I've always been an athlete a majority of my life, but as a teenager and into my early 20s, I suffered from depression, low self-esteem, lack of confidence, and definite self-doubt. And even though I did athletics, uh, I was like qualified for national level swimming on the pathway towards Olympics. And I did some kickboxing as well because I wanted to boost my, ability to defend myself if I needed. But those things did very little to kind of really boost my confidence on a regular basis to kind of go after what I wanted in life. And life sometimes has that way of kind of sucker punching you. And that happened a few times in my early 20s. Well, it's happened more than a few times in my life, but we'll stick to the beginning to kind of shortly to get to where we are now, or where I am now, I guess you could say. Um, I became pregnant with my son now well, he's my son now, but I became pregnant at 22. And then I had my son, and his father was not a good person, really. He really
Mm,
wasn't. So I had to file a restraining order against him. But after having him, I immediately handled everything with court and legalities, and he never showed up to court. So that was like another kind of was kind of the beginning of pathway of frustration as a young woman in her 20s.
mm,
And then a few months later, he began getting what we called these funny little bruises. And I didn't know what they were because no one had experienced what he was diagnosed in my family. And he was diagnosed with hemophilia just before the age of 1. And so I really thought that like all life was giving me was like just constantly beating me down on the mat of life, I guess you could say. And I became very angry, very frustrated, and almost feeling like I was drowning. And I began coping in unhealthy manners, reaching for the bottle, not understanding that I had a lot of emotions that I needed to process and deal with.
mm,
And so I knew that I needed to deal with those emotions, and I began boxing competitively. And so it was through like one punch, facing one fear at a time and overcoming those fears to be that number one role model for my son that I really started to dig deep and have that confidence and belief in myself. And so after that, and after 15 years, I completed my Bachelor of Sciences in nursing. I had 45 amateur boxing matches. I won the 2013 light welterweight Golden Glove Championship of Canada.
mm.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, it was a really big, huge accomplishment. It turned a pro, and I had one and one as one win, one loss,
Okay.
boxing competitively, professionally. And then along the way, just guiding through my son as best as I could, both with the masculine and feminine energy, because his father was never in the picture, and surrounding him by really positive role models like Olympians, world champions, and amazing coaches that I had myself, and amazing people who I met too as well when I began coaching women and people with Parkinson's full time. Just people who are always doing really good things in their life, because when you're a single parent, it's really important, our same coach, Kaylee Chu, she
Mm,
always says proximity is power, right? And the people that we
yes,
surrounded by help shape us. And
yes.
so and that's essentially why I was very passionate, because I know that boxing saves lives and it doesn't seem like a common thing for a lot of people to understand. Especially when you look at it as a violent sport, like the time that Mike Tyson bit Evander Holyfield's ear off, and that was like viral.
Yeah, yeah.
Before social media was a thing that was viral everywhere. But that's the kind of the main concept that people think of boxing as, but as a modality for a mindset to transferring the analogies of everything that life represents over into your everyday life is so, so vital to help people, especially in this day and age. We're bombarded with so many overwhelming messages and disempowering things that are happening in our media worldwide, that it's important to really intrinsically understand that you can stand your own ground and stand in your own power and be able to come out of your corner swinging and win back at everything that life is throwing at you. So that's a short end
Mm.
of like 25 years plus of
That's amazing. You've had an amazing journey. You were a single mom and you did boxing so many matches and so many wins. And you
yeah.
now coach people boxing. Is that right?
Yes, yes. I coach people boxing full time for the last 9 years now. Yeah.
Mm. And
Um,
what have you learned when you coaching people for boxing? What have you found out with your coaching journey?
the coaching journey, there's always so much to learn. There's so much that has been learned, and there's that's much more to be learned, because everybody is such an individual. And I
Yeah.
think in the health and fitness world, it just seems like the messages that we received is like, if you do this one thing, or we have this like secret recipe or whatever it may be. But it's such a personal journey for each person. For some
Yes.
people, like me, it's very autonomic because I love it and it's my passion. But for other people, it's a struggle for them to really find that internal drive all the time.
Yeah.
And it's very much psychology based. Really,
Hmm.
the fitness world is very much psychology based. To get your clients or your patients to where they want to go, really understanding their psychology of their motivation and drive and positive reinforcement is huge. I think out of everything I've learned, that's like the number one thing that really helps.
Mm, amazing. So, tell us a few stories of what sort of transformation you've seen in the women that you've coached.
Yeah, that's a really great question.
Mm.
So for instance, I have client that I've worked with for about 8 years now,
Mm.
Diane. Uh, she has Parkinson's. She's in her early 70s. And she never would have thought boxing, but then she was diagnosed with Parkinson's. She did running all the time. But because the Parkinson's slows your symptoms down, she was starting to get more injuries from the running and knew that she had to switch over to something else. And then she found the boxing. And what she found is that it's fun, it's like mentally stimulating. There's a supportive group, and she can maintain her fitness levels, and she's healed her injuries since she started boxing, because she used to get foot fractures all the time, and she still runs, she just doesn't run as much,
Mhm.
but that she has this quality of life and she still maintains her quality of life over the years.
Wow, that's amazing. So, how often would you see these people? And do you do anything else other than coaching them boxing? Do you coach them? Do you talk to them about mindset or yeah, how do you work?
Absolutely, absolutely. So mindset and focus is like the number one, really, like I've just really put it into a specific program called Punch Positive because I've had it. I've done all these things differently with different clients and that, but I've put it now into a very specific uh formula, I guess you could say, is
Mm,
like I call it my FIST formula,
mm,
right? So for the minds that we're focusing on, the F of the FIST is focus, right? So we're rewiring because a lot of us, especially if you've never seen your body go through transformations before, it's really hard to believe that you can do that. But through my coaching and the focus, we're shifting your thinking from fragile to fierce, right? So healing starts with how you see yourself first and rewiring that belief in yourself. And
great.
then, yeah.
Keep going. Yeah. And I?
And the I is about impact. So we're impacting the cause, not just the symptom. So we're looking at gut health, which is directly linked to brain health, but
Yes.
not just the nutrition, because this again, this comes back to the psychology of coaching. Because we don't realize how many times I've said this message. We don't realize in this day and age, we're no longer in like hunter and gatherers. Before in times when we had our food, we would hunt and we would gather and we would do things as a community. But since the industrial age and technology age, we're bombarded so much by marketing messages.
Mm,
Really, I don't know if you come across this, like how often people think that they're hungry, but they're really not. It's just kind of ingrained that you're always like the amount of messages is anywhere from 60 to 80,000 a week of like,
wow.
you need a treat for this, you need a treat for
Yes.
that, right? And that leads
Absolutely.
it can lead to emotional eating, right?
Yes. That's so common. I see it all the time.
Yeah. So we're looking at the psychology of what the emotional eating patterns are.
Mm,
Then we're going into the nutrition and gut health that the person wants to make for themselves and that they see for themselves because that impact happens when you want to see and make it for yourself. But as a coach, to just help bring that out.
yes. Yes, that's right. Great. And then the third one is your S.
The S, yeah. So the strength is about boxing your way to real strength, right? So gentle, non-contact boxing, and very specific movements that improve balance, energy, memory, and coordination. So, but boxing is the number one from a competitive aspect out of all the Olympic sports, is the number one Olympic sport rated by ESPN Sport. And not just because they wanted to do that, but what they did is they take all the different aspects that make up an athlete, right? Like you have strength, you have endurance, you have agility, you have speed, you have power, you have nerve, adaptability, and then there's two more that I'm missing, or two or three more. They average all the sports on those different things that make you up as an athlete, and then the number one average that comes out as number one is boxing.
Mm,
So if you want to become not necessarily being an athlete in terms of having to be competitive, but if you want to become an athlete to understand your body in time and space and get the most out of your body in time and space, especially as you age, as you age, there's a higher risk for falls. Then once you fall, there's a higher risk for breaking your hip. And then once you
mm,
break your hip within a year, you know, the stats show that you're more likely to die.
absolutely. Yes.
So the idea behind the boxing being the number one sport and building all that strength while having fun with fitness is what that's about, building strength. And then the T, the fifth part, is together because no one should be going on the journey alone,
Yeah.
right? Connecting you with people that are going along the similar journey as you, and then training with others who get it, as well as keeping you accountable on a weekly basis, both with individual support and group support.
That's amazing. I like it. I love the fist, focus, impact, strength, and together. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
Great. So a lot of our listeners are in Australia that are listening to you because that's where I am. So how
Yeah.
do how do people start looking into boxing because they can't really train with you face to face? How do they start?
Yeah. So, one way that people can find me is through my YouTube channel, is through Punch Positive. So I'm on there as well as I'm under my full name, Lita Mae Button, under Facebook.
Yeah.
But also, I love getting to know people and I love to help them uncover what their internal motivation is. So, uh, often what I'll do with people, sit down first with a coaching clarity call to really help them understand, we look at what their everything that's kind of gone on in their life, whether it's like what their goals are as well, but all the things that they've done through like nutrition, training, lifestyle factors, obstacles that they had, what their goals are, and really get clear on what that internal motivation is, and then come up with a plan from there. And if it's something that I'm a fit to work with them, then we work together online. The big difference with working online fitness coaching or health and wellness coaching is that what I've seen often happen for those that have kind of gone through that yo-yo kind of, some people are on the wagon, off the wagon with that
Mm,
lifestyle,
yes.
is that there's a lot of obstacles, especially as
Mm,
people get older and they have a harder time driving or they've got all their medical appointments and that to get, is that their goals need to dictate what the results and the scheduling is, not the schedule of the coach and the classes in the gym. But especially for women, women often find it very intimidating being in a gym or being in a martial
mm,
arts thing. So,
yeah.
um, it's like we work. I always meet people where they're at. I don't expect they're supposed to meet me where I'm at.
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of women they want to get fit, they want to exercise, but they never thought that boxing would be one of those things that they can get fit with. And just listening to you, there's so many benefits with balance and strength and endurance, cardio, but they just thought they'll go for a walk, then that's about all they think of.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. And we're the province I live in, a lot of people like walking. And don't get me wrong, walking is great, right? Like anything to move and go.
Yes.
But when you're going to age with grace and age with strength to prevent those falls, to prevent being, and I don't like to say it like that, but it's the truth. And I've seen all the time, being that burden on your family because you have all these healthcare issues that they have to take you around this and that.
Mm,
And fun. Like I have so many women that I've come across and they started boxing or they've tried boxing. They're like, I never thought of boxing as like so much fun. Like for instance, I was just on a walk with a friend the other day and she was like, yeah, I loved it. The time just flew by so fast.
yeah.
Yeah. As opposed
If
to walking on
they
a
if they're at home, they would just want to start, can they just do some air punching by themselves?
Yeah, so that's called shadow boxing, and
Okay.
there's nothing wrong with that, but it's like with any kind of, I always say, because I've been coaching fitness for so long,
Yeah.
is technique always trumps speed, right?
Hmm.
So the technique and the foundation of your footwork really helps your strength, really helps your balance, and really helps you prevent injuries.
Yeah. So you suggest them to see a coach instead of doing it all by themselves?
It really helps. It really helps, right? So it's kind of like if you think of it like in terms of a nutrition way, if you're wanting to lose X, Y, and Z amount of pounds, right?
Yeah.
But you've never eaten clean before, you don't understand like how your blood sugar levels work or what kind of foods are best to eat or what kind of works best for you. It's really great to kind of have like a nutrition assessment and
Yes.
menu and recipes to help implement to make it easier. Else you're just kind of it's getting coaching is the fastest path to getting to your results as opposed to just kind of blindly doing this and blindly doing that. Because, you know, coaches, healthcare practitioners. You have the experience and you have the education. So instead of flailing around, kind of trying this and trying that, you have somebody who's already done all the work with other people to know how to get you to your result much faster.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think patients that I see, they come in and they want to make some changes, and having a good 45-minute with me to talk about where they're at and guiding them through how personalized advice, that's really, really powerful. So I think that'll be the same if they want to train with you, if they want to take up boxing or improve their mindset or both, then that might be really helpful. That's what you offer.
Yeah, definitely.
Amazing. Great. And you do motivational speaking as well. Tell us about
Yes.
that journey.
Motivational speaking. That journey. Well, I think it's education and the love of inspiring and motivating people. Because through sharing and relating and connecting to an audience, especially women, through the obstacles and that I've overcome and
Mm,
helping them understand that they too can get overcome the obstacles wherever state that like phase of life that they're at. Because I've had a lot of obstacles in my life, in my
yeah.
life. And if we have a choice, right? We have a choice to get up each and every day to look at life with life is working for us or it's working against us.
Hmm.
And so I think that is part of what I'm doing as a motivational speaker is through the analogies of boxing, through the analogies of my story, through the analogies of transformation that I've helped other people with, helping pass that knowledge on to audiences who may never have thought of that as a solution to help them overcome the challenges that they're having in their life.
Great. Amazing. I love it. I love all you're saying, and we're so in tune with what I like to talk about as well.
Yeah.
Great. All right. So yeah, tell us where people can find you, Lita.
Yeah, so you can find me under Facebook, under Lita Mae Button, or everything that now that I offer is under punchpositive.com. So I have 1 day boxing masterclass. This is if you're not sure if boxing is a fit for you. So I'm just a complete beginner, non-contact, 1 day boxing masterclass. And then I also do monthly 5 day punch positive challenges. So my next challenge is coming up the first week of November.
Is it all online? Is it
Yeah, it's all
on
under
the Zoom?
punchpositive.com. Yeah,
Okay, so we can join on the masterclass and learn about benefits of boxing.
exactly. Yeah. I go through everything from complete beginner, but I also do my coaching system to I'll help you understand your deep internal motivation through a system that I've developed called your Smart Hearts, so you don't fart on your health and fitness lifestyle. So
Tell us again about
each
that.
thing stands. Yeah. So well, we're all familiar with our smart. Many people are familiar. I shouldn't say all because I mean, I ask people, and sometimes they're not familiar with the SMART goals.
Yep.
But SMART goals are very logical based. And
Yes.
as humans, we're very emotional based. So I have a
Yes.
heart system that I haven't developed it, but Jimmy Quick, I got it from his Limitless Brain, Developing Better Brain Capacity book. And then
Okay.
through all my years of coaching and that and seeing the obstacles that people have come up with, we go through the farts.
Yeah.
So each
Amazing.
thing is very detailed, so it really helps you understand what your goals are, clear your what, why, and all the emotional aspects and all the sabotage that can come up, so that you're aware of why and you're setting your goals and have a clear definition and clear understanding. Because again, like I said at the beginning of the podcast, it's very much if we understand our mindset and our own personal psychology, we're a lot more likely to reach our fitness goals and make it a regular habit in our lifestyle.
I think we just have to keep remembering our why. Why are we
Yeah.
doing this? What's the goal? And then we just have to be consistent, persistent, and keep doing the same thing over and over again. And then our results will come back, come through to us.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Consistency is so key.
That's it. Yes, amazing. Great, Lita. So I'll put all the links into the show notes and people can find you and people can sign up to your masterclass and learn about boxing, learn about how to improve their mindset and all the benefits. And we can do it all online, watching you.
Yeah, amazing. Yes. I look forward to hearing from everyone.
Great. All right. Well, thank you everybody for coming on to the prescribing lifestyle. Thank you, Lita, for coming on and being my guest. Until next time, I will bring to you another amazing guest with amazing story to share. Thank you.